Angela Carlson.
Hello, my name is Steve Carlson, and this is my wife, Angela.
Hola. We greet you all and bring you blessings from our home shrine, which we name Seek the Truth.
Both of us were born and raised in the Twin Cities, which is in the state of Minnesota. We married in St. Paul at St. Cecilia's Catholic Church. This year we will be celebrating our 30th anniversary of holy matrimony. We are now living in a small town of Plainview, which is near Rochester, Minnesota. I am an engineering technician and design computerized drawings for fire suppression systems.
I am a registered nurse and returning to work this summer after 18 years of being a stay-at-home mom. We have 8 children, 3 still at home, and 5 who have already left. Our oldest 3 daughters are now Schoenstatt Sisters of Mary. Sister Maria Erica, and Sister Maria Sarah. All 3 of them are living here in Waukesha.
Our son Phil has joined the Schoenstatt Fathers community and is living in Santiago, Chile. Our daughter Elizabeth is currently attending the University of St. Thomas and resides in St. Paul, Minnesota. And our youngest 3 children are still at home, Rachel, Mary, and Joseph.
To give you a quick look at what we will be talking about today, there are 3 areas we would like to cover. Renewal through the home shrine, education in the home shrine, and sent from the home shrine. Our home shrine, Seek the Truth, is where these chapters of our story take place.
As Angela and I said, our family has been renewed through the home shrine, educated in the home shrine, and sent from the home shrine.
Over the years, many spiritual changes have taken place in our home shrine as well as physical ones. We've added statues, hung paintings, and used fresh flowers for special feast days to adorn the shrine. One of the most unique changes was,
One of the most unique changes was cutting a big hole in the front of our home shrine. Because of the way it fit up against a wall, an empty wall, Angela thought it would be fun if the children could have a place to climb into the shrine and play. And the children loved it. Pillows, blankets, stuffed animals, and children holding rosaries prayed inside while Mom and Dad led the rosary outside.
Steve put hinges on a picture that conceals the opening, and the children would close themselves in and hide. The children huddled quietly inside to surprise their first victim, Father Jonathan. He entered the shrine room, and Steve and I began to pray as if nothing was unusual and certain children weren't missing. Then, at the pre-rehearsed time, I asked, "Are the angels listening to our prayers?" And a unanimous yes with giggles exploded from underneath the shrine, and the door burst open as our 3 smiling cherubs, Rachel, Mary, and Joseph, appeared.
For 18 years, we have had these wonderful home shrine experiences. Our home shrine would become the uniting force that would draw us all together. This unity was not only with our own family, but with the whole Schoenstatt family, and with Father Kintenig as our spiritual father and teacher.
As we have learned about Father Kintenig's teaching during his years in Milwaukee, He proclaimed that couples should strive to become an image of the Holy Family. Not just a heavenly idea, but a very real, down-to-earth ideal lived in everyday life in the midst of our world today. He gave them 3 principles.
Firstly, the Nazareth family, the father and the mother, occupy the position foreseen for them by God from all eternity.
Secondly, in the Nazareth family, the child is the focal point.
Thirdly, in the Nazareth family, father, mother, and children are united by the bond of deep, warm love. As the couples worked closely with Father, divine providence led them to give birth to the home shrine as a way to live out this Nazareth ideal. This gift of the home shrine was not only meant for Milwaukee couples, but for us as a family and for every family as well. To arrive at an understanding of this ideal, God needed to use Mary in our home shrine to renew our family. Mary renews our family through the home shrine.
To our great sorrow, the first 10 years of our married life were lived far away from this Nazareth ideal. Our desire for family unity was present, but dormant deep within our hearts. We both worked full-time to meet the many expenses of our growing family. We were convinced that our children were most important, so we decided to arrange our work schedules to always have one of us home with them. This meant we were rarely together as a family, and eventually we even quit attending Sunday Mass.
The few times we were together, I was often angry with Angela. It was not a just anger, it was a selfish anger, usually having to do with our daily routine. The angrier I was, the more distant she became. While she was at work, I focused on the children. When she was home, I would get away from my responsibilities by hanging out with a friend.
I enjoyed my job as a nurse, which gave me breaks from Steve and the fights we frequently had. But that was really hard for me because I had to leave the children. Working out of the home and running to different activities kept me really distracted. I was often unable to give my full attention even to the children. So I became bitter towards Steve and ignored him the rare times we were together. Because of the pressures of life and of the world, we grew farther and farther away from the truths of the church, even to a point where we both completely closed ourselves off to the gift of new life.
Deep down, we knew we loved each other and would do anything for our children. But because of heated arguments and financial struggles and stress of raising a large family, and the lack of family spiritual life, our marriage finally hit a wall. One day, Angela left with our 5 children while I was at work. When I came home, I realized that all that I had was gone. I called her morning, noon, and night, and I told her I would do anything if she would just come back home.
As I sobbed and held our children, I wondered, how do I pray? The only prayer I could pray was, Grandpa Tony, please help me. Grandma Mary, pray for us. When Steve told me he would do anything, I remembered how much my grandparents prayed and how important church was to them. I told Steve I would be willing to get back together if we would start going back to church.
I said yes. I was so happy to have Angela and the children back. Even if it meant going to church, I was going to do everything I could to make it work. A time of grace and renewal began. It began to embrace us both. At this time, our oldest child was enrolled in a parochial school, and her class was preparing to receive the sacraments of confession and Holy Communion. We arranged Angela's work schedule so that we could attend Mass together again on Sundays, and by helping our daughter prepare for confession, we prepared to make our own homecoming to the church. It had been over 10 years since we had gone to confession.
Another part of our daughter's preparation was learning to pray the whole rosary. She came home very sad one day and said, Mama, everyone knows how to pray the rosary except me. I remembered my grandparents again. I took up the materials she brought home and we began to pray the rosary every day.
Since Angela had cut back on her hours, I decided to deliver newspapers for extra money. There happened to be a Catholic church on my paper route. I would see a light on in the chapel and wonder why people would be coming and going at 5 a.m. I learned it was for adoration of the Blessed Sacrament, and we began to attend.
Soon we were invited to a Schoenstatt couples group. With our tarnished beginnings, we didn't really feel like our family could ever belong to Schoenstatt. Now we have come to realize that the misery we experienced in not living the unity of a Nazareth family, this was exactly the key God would use to open the door to our hearts for our renewal and education in the school of Father Kinsinek.
A year and a half after returning to church, we headed down to Sleepy Eye, the Schoenstatt Shrine in Minnesota, for our covenant of love. Some people asked why we ever entered Schoenstatt. All we could say is that we were desperate. All we knew is the covenant of love was calling on Mary.
Finally, here was something we agreed upon. Well, sort of. If I were to ask Steve, I'm sure he would say that he took me to the shrine to straighten me out. I would say going to the shrine was to straighten him out.
And we were both right. We both sincerely loved our children and just weren't sure what to do next. They were getting older now and sensed our lack of discipline. It was only a matter of time before they would sense our insecurities and rebel. We intuitively saw that we, in our little Nazareth family, were not living as true father and mother as Father Kinsinek had shown in the ideal. It was through the grace of education of the Blessed Mother that our eyes began to open.
In our covenant prayers, the thing that struck me the most was how Mother Teresa Admirable wanted to take our children. We placed them in her hands with such confidence that we almost felt childless. We knew we needed to do our part, but it seems so much lighter now. The covenant of love for us is very united in the Homeshrine because we dedicated it just 4 days later.
So on the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, December 8th, 1994, our parish priest blessed our home shrine. We chose the title, Seek the Truth, as its name. We felt we had been lost in the darkness and didn't always know where to find the light. We wanted to be educated in the truth, especially for our children's sake. Deep in our hearts, our children were at the center.
To have Mother Mary move in with us was such an intimate moment. It gives us great pleasure to think of all the times she has watched the children play, laugh, sing, and even cry. She renewed our family unity as we all took her into our home and made her our mother. We now felt that in our little Nazareth family, we, as father, mother, and children, were more united by the bond of deep, warm love.
Mary educates our family in the home shrine. We have covered the first period of grace, the renewal of our family through the home shrine. Now we will share how Mary educated our family in the home shrine. As each one experienced the healing renewal, the Blessed Mother began to educate us in our Seek the Truth home shrine. This is when we decided to educate our children at home.
There was so much ground to cover and so little time before each child would move away. Every subject was taught through the eyes of faith. Material that was given to the children in Schoenstatt groups was literally taken and incorporated into family life and daily religion classes. It wasn't just knowledge of God, however, that Mother Mary taught us. It was the knowledge of who we were as a family and how we could, in our own way, embody the Nazareth ideal as Father Kinsinek had proclaimed it. Through her loving education, we were able to know the deep joy of coming back to the fullness of the truth of the Church's teachings, especially in saying our yes once again to the openness for life. After the devastation of our falling away, this return home was overpowering.
Through the singing of Christmas carols at bedtime, and we discovered how talented our children were at singing and harmonizing. Music was added to prayer time. So many prayers were sung. We loved praying the Angelus 3 times a day with mealtime, but certain children couldn't wait that long to eat. We began singing a short Ave Maria in its place.
As the children grew, they began writing their own songs. Their songs were always a prayer. When Sister Jennifer left home, we wrote a short prayer that expressed our family ideal. Sister Jennifer gave it a melody, and now we had our very own way to live the Nazareth ideal. After every letter or phone call, after each mystery of the rosary, or whenever we were missing someone, which was a lot, we would sing this prayer song. This was grafting us closer in the home shrine, even though we were miles apart.
Another area where the Blessed Mother educated us was in helping our children live chastity. When our first daughter, Jennifer, reached the age 16, we wanted to teach her the truth about her dignity as a young woman. We bought her a chastity ring and presented it to her. With our next 3 daughters, Erica, Sarah, and Elizabeth, this special ceremony took place in the shrine of Sleepy Eye. A beautiful white dress was chosen and a purity pledge written on a special piece of paper that was placed in our home shrine. Our son Phil also received a ring at a boys' camp in Sleepy Eye. This became a constant visual reminder of the dignity they had been educated in.
An important part of educating the children in the home shrine was helping them discover the importance of the covenant of love and the desire to make it themselves. Everyone prepared and celebrated these milestones together. Usually their covenants were made away from home with the Schoenstatt father or sister who was working with the youth.
This is when the home shrine symbols seem to come alive. For instance, Sister Erica's living shrine symbol is the rainbow, a sign of the covenant. She discovered her talent for drawing and painting, and now the rainbows that she had only colored with crayons became alive in her artwork with breathtaking oil and watercolors, as shown in her Blessed John Paul II's portrait. Sister Sarah's symbol is the violet, and as she began to live out her shrine symbol, the flower garden blossomed with fragrant beauty. New interest in living out our individual ideals awoke in the heart of every family member, and this found an expression in many ways, such as in gardening and singing and writing music and poetry and shepherding our goats. Whenever the children were away from us on retreat or during difficult times, their home shrine symbol would be placed in their room shrines, and all of us would pray intently for them. Mother Thrice Admirable was truly educating us to seek the truth.
Mother Mary needed to educate Steve and me too. As usual, this proved more difficult and took a lot longer than the children. I would hold Steve's home shrine symbol, the rock, and gaze at Mary, desiring that she teach me. How could I let Steve be the leader of the family and do what God was asking of me, but in my own way? I had quit my job to stay home so that I could focus all my energy on caring for our precious little ones. I began to let go of things that distracted me, allowing Mother Mary in the home shrine to help me to seek the truth. I prayerfully read every book Sister Marie gave us and tried to put the principles into practice. I learned how to cook, thank goodness, run the house, and see the importance of my role as wife and mother. My home shrine symbol is the crown, which Mary was teaching me to live so I could bear fruit and help Steve live out his symbol as well.
For me, seeking the truth often meant learning to control my anger and seeing the dignity in my wife and my children. In the home shrine, the Blessed Mother used the tools of spiritual daily order and monthly confession to help me to see if I was making any progress. As the rock, I was beginning to understand my role as a spiritual leader, but always with Jesus and Mary. From our home shrine, Mary was educating us to be a reflection of the Holy Family almost without us knowing it. We were truly falling in love again as a couple, All the while, the Blessed Mother united us in our Seek the Truth home shrine. Mary sends us from the home shrine. She had renewed us in the home shrine, educated us in the home shrine, and now she was sending us forth from the home shrine.
This sending us from the home shrine was necessary because the bonds of love were so strong. They needed to be shared. But it was so hard to leave our oasis, and somehow she knew we just weren't quite ready. Our patient and tender mother responded by saying, "That's okay, I'll just send other people to you."
For example, a religious sister from our parish approached us and asked us if we would consider providing housing for unwed mothers. These women usually only stayed about 3 months, but we grew very close to each one. One expectant mother came to stay with her 3 children. This was especially fun for our children as they tunneled through snow forts and made with their new best friends. We were truly able to show our children the uniqueness of being a child of God no matter what your heritage. The women who attended Angela Schoenstatt Mothers Group helped give one of the expectant mothers a baby shower that took place in our home shrine. Mother Mary was truly showering us and them with gifts and graces.
One of the first families that encountered Schoenstatt in our home shrine was the Bauer family of St. Paul, Minnesota. As they learned of our MTA, we embraced their devotion to the Sacred Heart. We enthroned our homes to the Sacred Heart of Jesus on the same night as our parish priest went from one home to the next. From then on, we have included the renewal of this consecration every day at our supper meal.
Mealtime became a special way to bring others to share in the graces of our home shrine. As our family grew and the number of home shrine visitors multiplied, it was obvious we needed a bigger table. I decided to make one myself, even if my tools were primitive. It is a work in progress. I made it out of oak pallets given to me by a friend who regularly attended boys' groups at our home with his 4 sons. I built the table over about a 6-month period with the words Queen of the Feast carved in the middle of the top. It's hard to count how many families shared a meal with us at our table, but I'm sure the graces are multiplying each time they do.
Did you notice the blue cabinets? There are some people here who helped us paint those. The Schoenstatt youth groups at our house weren't always very productive, but everyone seemed to have a great time. We tried to incorporate fun things at each event. There were nativity plays in the goat pen, numerous obstacle courses, singing under the stars around the campfire, and saint scavenger adventures and racing in the woods. In the pole barn, there were numerous choices for wood crafts, violent tennis ball wars, and awesome square dances. In the large field, there was ultimate frisbee, capture the flag, and intense volleyball games. When youth groups would come from Wisconsin, the games became supercharged, and you couldn't help but be drawn into the fun.
On May 13th, 2006, we had a rosary procession and a crowning in our home shrine. Our daughter Elizabeth had carved a beautiful crown, and we crowned the Blessed Mother, Queen of Vocations, for the new holy springtime. For this event, the local parish priest, Father Kazel, who had visited our boys' groups, agreed to preside. The Blessed Mother used this event to draw Father Kazel to herself, and he soon made the covenant of love with her.
Now we were ready. It was time to be sent out from our home shrine. Over the next few years, Schoenstatt Covenant celebrations and Schoenstatt Family Sundays in St. Paul, Minnesota kept us really busy. It was hard for families to travel all the way to Sleepy Eye, a 2.5-hour drive to experience the shrine, so we tried to bring the shrine to them. At our parish church, Father Kazel would give a talk while we would lead the boys and girls groups. Then everyone joined together in the parish chapel before Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament, praying litanies and closing with benediction and renewing our Schoenstatt consecration prayer. This was followed by a huge potluck shared with families, visiting and just plain being together. It was a way that our home shrine mother sent us out to share what she had given us.
On our 25th wedding anniversary, we visited Schoenstatt on the lake, the shrine in Sleepy Eye. We renewed our inscriptio. Our being sent forth then took an unexpected turn. The day after returning home from a weekend, we learned that I was being laid off after 17 years at the same job. This started a time of uncertainty for our family. Numerous hours were spent in our home shrine as we sought the truth. She guided us a little at a time, but only enough to take little steps. We prayed the Divine Providence prayer daily, asking God to tell us what to do.
The decision was eventually made to leave our beautiful home and move our family to Rochester, where more steady work was. During this difficult time, our couples group listened, offered support, and helped us grow stronger, always connected to our Seek the Truth home shrine. They provided the prayers that finally helped us find a home. While trying to sell our house, we commuted 2 hours back and forth from Rochester to home every week. A soon-to-be special friend opened up her apartment to us, guided by the MTA in her home shrine, which is named Come to Me.
As we searched for homes online, the first thing we looked for was the location of the home shrine, where we would put it in our new home. Secondly, was the dining room or kitchen big enough for our rather large table? Even our realtor began looking specifically for homes that fit our table. God finally showed us our house. And when it came time to move, we prayed that our children would not suffer or miss their home too much. Our capital of grace had been filled to the brim for them.
In order to remind us that she was with us, she sent a Schoenstatt father to bless and spend the night in our new home on our very first night. A few days later came the words from Rachel I will never forget. Mama, how come it seems like we've always lived here? Thank you, Mama Mary.
It has been 2 years now since we've moved to our new home, and we see God's providence unfolding daily. Our church, St. Joachim, is only 2 blocks from our home. We have Eucharistic adoration from Tuesday to Friday. We serve as family sacristans every Sunday morning, and together bring Holy Communion to the elderly and homebound. Most of them live in a nursing home that's directly behind us.
We are on the route for Schoenstatt family members going from the shrine in Waukesha to the shrine in Sleepy Eye, so they can stop and visit our home shrine. Any of you too. It seems the Blessed Mother still wants to send us out, just now in different ways. With our renewal and education in hand, our family has been sent out from our home shrine to seek the truth in the covenant of love.
We are so grateful that Divine Providence has chose to bring Father Kentinick here to unfold for us the ideal of the Nazareth family, an ideal that has been lived in everyday practical family life. Through this time of education and guidance of our families here, the world was blessed with the gift of the home shrine. As you can see, the Blessed Mother has renewed us as a couple and a family through our home shrine, educated us in our home shrine, and sent us forth from our home shrine to seek the truth.
We're going to do a song in just a minute, but I wanted to explain. Father Mark said Mass in our Seek the Truth home shrine a week ago, and we prayed for all of you. And this is our 18th anniversary of our home shrine, so it's kind of a special year, so I'm sure you're going to get lots of graces when we give you this. So after the song, we'll pass those out.